Now we're going to talk about media, which was my jam. Summer 2018, I was a media intern at Butler Till in Henrietta. This is what I did. I was a media intern. I talked about all the different types of media, when to use them. I picked media for a campaign that I worked on for Ithaca College. Super awesome. Let's go. So media is plural of medium, just to make that distinction. And then a medium is the channel that you use to convey your message to a target market, which I'll get into the different types of media in a couple slides. And then, so you have to execute some kind of media plan. So that is what you're going to do for getting your ad to your target market. What channels are you going to use? When are you going to use what? Just a whole plan for how you're going to reach your target market, which is a huge, huge, huge determinant of what your media is going to be. Also cost. Cost effective is very important as well. Media types. So the first two slides are more traditional media. So when you hear someone say traditional media, think of newspapers, magazines, radio, TV, kind of internet, kind of, I'll get into that, and then outdoor, which is like billboards. So that's traditional. So not all of these are as obsolete as you think. Again, if you want to reach like an older market, you're gonna go for newspapers. Magazines are surprisingly good for B2B. So if you have like medical equipment, you can go in like a doctor's magazine and advertise, and that can be a pretty effective way for you to reach that market that you're looking for. And then radio is also pretty good for segmentation too, because you can go through the types of music for the different stations in the area that you're looking to advertise in, and usually you can get the demographic information and psychographic information of listeners that would tune into that kind of radio station. And so streaming ads kind of fall under radio right now, like Pandora and Spotify. That's the same kind of thing. You can choose like either playlists or stations that you want to advertise on depending on which streaming app you're going for. So radio is pretty good for segmentation. Don't sleep on radio. TV, pretty traditional. It can be infomercials or like just a regular basic 30-second spot, 30-minute spot, anything that's on TV. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So internet gets weird because there's a lot of new types of ads on the internet. That one specifically is like advert gaming. So think of like in-app ads. Like I play a couple games on my phone and I get ads on them because they're free apps. So free apps come with ads. That's kind of what advert gaming is. Sometimes it's a playable ad, which was my favorite. So back to new developments in internet. So it can be either on mobile or on desktop. So whenever you see like a banner ad on a website, that is an internet ad. And then like when you do like a Google search, sometimes the ones that come up at the top from SEO, they say ad next to them. That is an ad, obviously. So there's been a lot of developments in internet advertising that are sometimes complicated, sometimes not. One of them is mobile retargeting, which is my favorite. So mobile retargeting is when you click on something on your phone and later you get an ad for that same thing somewhere else. So let's see, if I'm going through Instagram and I click on an ad for an article of clothing, and then I browse around, look at it, whatever. And then later, if I go on my web browser on my phone and I'm like scrolling through something, looking for something, I come across a website and I see a banner ad for that article of clothing, that is mobile retargeting. So you click on something and then it comes up later. I know y'all have experienced this because everyone talks about it. That's why Alexa listens to you for mobile retargeting. Heard it here first. Also, what you can do for mobile retargeting is you can set up what's called a geofence in a certain area. Like if you're X amount of miles within a grocery store, you'll probably get some kind of ad for said grocery store on your mobile device. So it can get pretty complicated. I won't dive any deeper than that because, yeah. But outdoor media is fun. Outdoor media is also fun. So billboards are not dead. It's hard to record and measure the reach of them because you don't know how many people are driving past X freeway on X day at X amount of time. But since digital billboards have come out, there's more space for companies to advertise on billboards, which is why more companies are doing it. And it's more of a wide reach. So if you don't have like a very specific target market, billboards are probably a good thing for you to do because it's not very narrow in scope. These are the best though, alternative media. So this is kind of how advertisers cut through the clutter of traditional ads and get someone's attention. So shopping carts I've used in a media plan before. They're super cool actually. A lot of real estate agents use shopping cart ads in like that little front section where like the babies can sit or whatever. That's where ads go sometimes depending on what store you're at. Computer screensavers, Fisher organizations even do this, like the ones that like bounce around when the screen is black, like from SGA or Campus Life. That's an example. Interactive kiosks. So you know how like at the mall there's those like kiosks with a map on them and it's like a touch screen? Ads can come up on that a lot. Ads before movies, that's relatively new. Posters, and then advertainments. I don't know why they use that word. It's just, but the main one that I think about is product placement because product placement is so huge. It is free. You don't have to do anything except get your product in like a TV show or a movie. So think about like American Idol when they have like the Coca-Cola cups next to the judges. That is product placement, and it's the most basic thing, but it's super effective and you don't even like realize it, but it gets stuck in your memory. Like I said with the maximum exposure. That's what that's about. I'm not gonna go through this. I think y'all should though. So y'all can go through this. Just pay attention to the important stuff, like newspapers are expensive. That's the main drawback, I suppose. So yeah. Media mix. So these are the metrics that affect your media mix selection. So I should explain media mix first. Media mix is the combination of a media that you would use for a campaign. So it depends on a lot of things. Some of them are the metrics that you see here. So cost per contact is reaching one member of the target market. So if you pay X amount of dollars for a billboard I should use real numbers. So if you pay $20,000 for a billboard and 20,000 people see it, your cost per contact is $1. Math. Same thing with a cost per click. That is usually what websites charge advertisers to advertise on their website. Every time someone clicks your ad, you get charged, which sounds counterintuitive, but you're hoping that it leads to a sale that will make up for that cost that you're paying. And then reach is the number of target consumers who are exposed to the commercial at least once during the designated time period. That's what I was talking about earlier. And then frequency is the number of times that you see something. So this is a little different than metrics. a lot of these are included in the comparison chart for the different media. So specifically noise level, that's not something that is just related to radio. It's the amount of clutter, like I said, that advertisers are trying to cut through. So it's the number of distractions that you're trying to work around to get your message to the consumer. Like social media, a lot of the ads blend in to the news feed because there's a lot of noise and it looks the same. So that's a high noise medium that some companies don't choose to use. And then lifespan, it's just like how long they stay on the media that they're on. Like a story's lifespan is 24 hours. Yeah. Qualitative factors. So these affect the likelihood of the message being seen and absorbed by who you're trying to reach. So a lot of times these are out of control for the company choosing the media. It's just kind of something that they're gambling on, like attention to the commercial and program. You don't know if someone is like sitting watching TV but just like looking at their phone the whole time, so they're not really paying attention. But like involvement, you can try to target consumers that will have a high level of involvement and need for cognition for your ad. Program liking is another one that's a gamble. You could watch a show that you don't really like. You don't, but yeah, you know what I mean. And then lack of distractions and then other behaviors, which are really like hard to control. So that's definitely something that throws you off. Media scheduling. So this is basically how you structure your campaign. So it's what mediums are used and when they are used. So we're going to go through these and give you some examples. So continuous is when an ad is run steadily throughout the period. These are usually for commodity items like toothpaste or insurance. There's not like a best time to advertise for a toothpaste because people always need it. So it's continuous. And then flighted and pulsing, these get confusing. Flighted, I think of like an event, like if you have Coachella in the summer, you like release the artist list in like early January, and then you kind of go silent for 2 weeks, and then you put out another blast for 2 weeks, and then you kind of level off. So it's just about those reminders, but it doesn't have to be constant, and it's not throughout the year because Coachella is once, and you don't really need to advertise for the next year in like 3 months after it happens. And then pulsing is a combination of continuous and flighting. So, oh, yes. Lemonade is a good example of this one because you can drink lemonade all year, but there is a specific time that it sells the most, which is in the summer. Lemonade is a summer drink. I love lemonade. So that's when they push it the heaviest, but they still will advertise in the off season, just not as heavy. And then seasonal is pretty much products that are related to holidays. Halloween costumes, Christmas decorations, Easter candy, and so on and so forth.